This is the QB Huddle Podcast, hosted by Tim Smith and Brandon Newell.
Welcome back to the QB Huddle Podcast. I'm Tim. I'm joined by my podcast partner, Brandon Newell. Brandon, what another great weekend of football. We're here to talk all season long. And Brandon, you were on a little trip this weekend. So how was your weekend out in North Carolina?
Little beautiful getaway anniversary trip with the wife, celebrating 7 years. It was actually phenomenal. Yeah, we were in Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville, not Nashville. Beautiful area. It's a hidden gem. We had an opportunity to go explore that smaller city. It's a very historical city. Had an opportunity to visit the Biltmore, which is one of the U.S. largest estates. Over 8,000 acres, 250 bedrooms, 42 bathrooms. They had a winery. They had a couple of other places we really didn't get an opportunity to touch on. But, man, that was an incredible experience. But outside of mine, man, I heard you had a phenomenal weekend yourself, man. You got to visit a good old MetLife. So talk about that experience.
Sure did. My wife and I take a trip every year for our anniversary as well. This was our 14th anniversary, and we decided to go to New York. My first trip to New York. Lived off pizza and bagels for 4 days. It was amazing. Really had a great time. Went on Broadway. We saw a couple shows. We saw Chicago. Yeah. We saw Back to the Future. We lived through one of the worst floods in New York in 2015.
Yeah.
We didn't really see that. We spent a lot of money in Uber rides on Friday because the subway was shut down and you couldn't walk. It was rainy. But yeah, we went to Jet Life last night. Fantastic, really great game. Zach Wilson played phenomenal. Patrick Mahomes played great in the fourth quarter when they needed him to. Taylor Swift was in the building. It was a little bit of an insane atmosphere.
The Swifties.
All the young women around me were taking pictures because she was right across from us. We were sitting right at the 30-yard line. She was across from us and to the left in a skybox. And I could tell because everyone would take pictures and then they would zoom it in, and there's Taylor Swift in the box. So people were going crazy about that. An angry fan base is the New York Jets. I would say that. But – yeah. As angry as they are, when anything good happens at all, they go incredibly insane, which was awesome. I got to do the Jets chant, which if you've never watched the Jets on TV or been to the game, there's one guy, I think his name is Fireman Ed, they call him. He's got a big fireman's hat, and he sits right around the 40-yard line. He was right across from us on the Jets side, and he kind of quiets the crowd down, and then he orchestrates this Jets, Jets, after a touchdown, and and at the beginning of the game, it was a great atmosphere. Getting home from MetLife, not very easy. I suggest that if you go there, stay in the city and take the train home. Otherwise, you're going to pay about $200 for an Uber. And
oh my goodness,
you might contemplate just sleeping at the stadium like I did. But it was a great experience, man. New York was awesome. I always like to see Patty Mahomes play live, but seeing Zach Wilson really step up and play well yesterday.
Yeah, he did good.
That was a lot of fun.
He did good, man.
Yes, sir. So let's get into it, Brandon. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a special guest. Tripp Harrington is going to join us later. Pro arena quarterback right now, looking to get into the NFL. So let's start with who was on fire. I'll start with you because I think you got to watch a little bit more ball than I did on Sunday. So talk about it.
Yeah, I did, man. I had an opportunity to watch a little ball from the airplane. So got on that good old Wi-Fi. Shout out to American for the nice, outstanding Wi-Fi there. But I will say, there's two that really stood out. I mean, I would be a homer and say, my guy too. But I'd say Josh Allen, man. I mean, going into that game, I remember you mentioning, last week they're going to score over 100 points. Well, Josh Allen was close to it, right? Coming off of a 70 score from the Dolphins, you would expect them to rise to the occasion a little bit. Josh Allen was 84% completion, 20 of 25, 320 passing yards, 4 TDs, 1 rushing touchdown, QBR rating of 158. But to me, that what stands out with his outstanding talent, 0 turnovers. That's what you got to have. You've got to be efficient. I'm noticing this trend with Josh Allen right now, you keep him a little bit under 25 passing yards or go over 30. Some things he's going to start, to get stare down the gun barrel a little bit and really start to, can potentially turn the ball over the closer the game gets. I thought he played a very efficient game. Stephon Diggs really helps with those 3 TDs and, taking an 8-yard hitch route and turning it to 70 yards. I mean, that's why he's one of the number one guys, right?
Right.
Another one of mine is C.J. Stroud. I mean, C.J. Stroud is definitely in an elite class from what he's done in his first 4 starts. He's the 6th quarterback to ever throw for 300 yards in each of his games with no turnovers. He's in an elite class with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and just to name a few others, I believe. Joe Montana's in that mix. Man, this guy is really doing good. I think he's doing some great things for the Texans. I'm a little bit shocked considering he is an Ohio State quarterback, but he might be the best passing Ohio State quarterback they've ever had. So kudos to him on that. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on a lot of stuff. My honorable mention was going to be C.J. Stroud, and
Sure.
I feel like I have to do that because I really disliked him at Ohio State because of my hate for Ohio State. But the stigma stays with you when you leave that university and come into the NFL. But he is really kicking it, right? He's got 1,200 yards already, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions as a rookie. They're 2-2, which at this point we probably all expected the Texans to be over. 300 yards last game, 2 touchdowns. CJ's on fire. I'm with you on Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's balling.
Josh Allen was my number one guy. I want to go back and let everyone know he's only got 4 interceptions on the season, 3 coming in one game. He's got over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. His team is 3-1. Enough with the Josh Allen slander. We decided after the Jets game that he wasn't a top 5 quarterback, and we had to knock him down, and he wasn't to be mentioned with Patrick Mahomes and Tua and all these quarterbacks. But Josh Allen is every bit as good as advertised. He had 1 bad game against the Jets. Enough. Let's let it go. The Bills are still a top team, and they are the best team in that division. They showed it on Sunday. My other guy is Baker Mayfield. And no surprise that I'm going to continue.
Riding on that Baker train, huh?
But this guy came off a very rough game against the Eagles, which we all expected, right? They went into New Orleans, where we all, I think, expected New Orleans to win that game. Derek Carr does not play well. He's not 100%, but Baker, 25 for 32, 246, 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but the Bucs rather dominated this game start to finish, and it starts with Baker Mayfield. He continues to play well. They're first in that division right now, and Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers are a problem. They went into New Orleans, which Tom Brady had a problem doing, going into New Orleans and beating the Saints.
Right.
So, not to say Baker Mayfield is better than Tom Brady, obviously, but he's doing his thing. We can't overlook him. I got to give him his flowers because he took a beating last week. So that's where I'm at with my on fire guys. I'm a little partial because I said Baker was going to have a good season. So every time he plays well, I'm going to be in your face and let you know about it.
Yeah. So before we dive into the garbage juice, absolutely dog water. I want to touch back in on the CJ Stroud thing, and I think I misquoted. Currently right now there's 5 other guys that has average 300 yards passing, 0 INTs in their first 4 games. It's Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. It was not Joe Montana. So my mistake on that. But I will say, man, that's some damn good company.
That is a good
company. He takes his guys out. From my understanding, CJ Stroud, and he's just a different guy. And I really love to see this, especially coming from that first round money. He takes his guys out every week for dinner, hires a chef, feeds the offensive lineman. I mean, those are just leadership qualities that are very early in this, especially in your first quarter. Who would have thought they'd be 500 in their first quarter of the season? I think they're doing a really good job there. So kudos to CJ, man. He's doing a great job. But let's dive into this garbage juice, man. Let's talk about it.
Let it go. You want to go
straight poo. Daniel Jones. We got to talk about it. $45 million quarterback. You cannot do this, man. You can't do this. I mean, was his completion percentage pretty solid? It was, but he had 2 turnovers. You only scored 3 points. 2 TDs to 6 INTs this season. You are on pace to throw 26 interceptions, my friend.
Yeah, he needs to work on a
What are you
buyback.
doing?
He
You're
needs
from
to work
Duke. You're a smart kid, right?
He needs to work on a buyback plan. Maybe give some of that money back to the Giants so that the money can be
Maybe to
given
Saquon. Saquon's their offense, so
he's on my list too.
it's
I think
absolutely dog water, man. It's
he is
boo-boo.
100% on my list. Daniel Jones,
Yep.
I thought was going to have a big year. It's turned out right now, as of today, he's the worst quarterback in the division, and the Giants are the worst team in the division. And I don't know if they're going to be able to crawl out of that. I just don't see it.
No, I don't see them crawling out of that at all. They're about to go face the Dolphins this week, so that might be another blowout. My other guy is Desmond Ridder. 2 turnovers, blowout to the Jags in London. Has yet to throw for 250 yards in the season. I mean, that's not good either. You got rid of Marcus Mariota for that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Not good.
I mean, you got a good run game, but at the same time, man, you gotta be able to distribute the ball. I think you got some pretty good weapons outside, especially with Kyle Pitts and Drake London. But you got to find a way, man. I mean, otherwise, you're gonna be finding another job next year. Your leash is thin. You and I both know these top quarterbacks that get picked. Now, granted, I think he was either selected in the 2nd or 3rd round, but you got a short leash, man. You got a short leash. You got to get it done and figure it out. So both of those quarterbacks were absolute boo-boo.
Boo-boo. Well, I'm going to add to the garbage juice bucket this week, and I'm going to add Kenny Pickett in there. All this talk about him being the guy in Pittsburgh, he's yet to show it to me, right? 15 to 23, 114 yards and a pick. Absolutely terrible. He may be hurt now. Mitchell had to take over last night late in the game, so we'll see.
They got to figure out something.
He's got 800 yards, 4 TDs, 4 picks. Steelers are 2-2. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm taking the keys away from Kenny and I'm giving them back to Mitchell. Mitchell's proven in this league. Mitchell's taken the team to the playoffs.
Proven?
He took the Bears to the playoffs. He wins.
I think this is a stretch.
Hey, when Mitchell was in Chicago, when they decided to bench him for Nick Foles, he was 5-0. He was struggling in the game there in Atlanta. But he was 5, and he had the Bears at 5-0, coming off a playoff, almost a playoff win versus the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl, right? 2 years prior to that. Then he got hurt. I just think Mitchell for the Steelers right now is probably going to be a better option. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to take care of the football. He's going to manage your offense, run the ball. Maybe that's the problem, right? Najee Harris is on the team still, right? Number 22, like he plays for the Steelers. Give him the damn ball. Well, we got Kenny Pickett out there like he's the next coming of Terry Bradshaw, and he's just not to me. I haven't seen it. So I'm going to put him in the garbage juice this weekend. And let's move on. There were some big moments this weekend from quarterbacks. We're starting to see some bigger moments as the season goes on. So let's talk about the Brady moment, as we call it. Somebody that just got it done when they needed it most. Who's your guy?
Matthew Stafford, man. I mean, ever since he stepped in the league, man, he's one of the top quarterbacks that has led in fourth quarter comebacks. Now, granted, he did play for the Detroit Lions, right? But I think what he's doing with this young receiver group, it's a very young team. I remember you guys talking about the couch coach, man. You guys were like, "Oh, the Rams! Oh, why are you going to pick them?" I told you why. They got a veteran quarterback that can get it done. If you protect Matt Stafford, he will deliver the mail. He's extremely good. He's still good at what he does. Puka Nacua finally scored a touchdown. His first touchdown, it was a walk-off in overtime. Beautiful, nice little option route. He works the middle so well. And I know guys are right now comparing him a little bit to Larry Fitzgerald because of his size. I'm not going to stretch that and say he's there yet, but I love what I see from this kid already. I mean, he just understands it. He's a big physical kid. He makes great catches even when it's not a great throw, right? So kudos to him. I know that was his first TD, happened to be that walk-off when Cooper Kupp gets back. I mean, look out. They may make the push in the NFC West, maybe take maybe that third or that second slot outside of us, but I don't see them beating us. So, I mean, we're 9-0 versus them in regular season games, so good luck with that. But shout out to Stafford.
We always got.
What about you?
We always got to get a 49er plug in there somehow. I'm gonna go right back to New York, where I was, the game that I was at, the Sunday Night Football game, the Chiefs versus the Jets. Patrick Mahomes did not have a great night. right? I've seen him in person 3 times now. I've seen him play much better than he played the other day.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, too, some of his problem is, man, they really don't have any receivers that are getting open down the field. And the protection Sunday night was pretty terrible. But what does Mahomes do? Late in the fourth quarter, Zach Wilson and the Jets tie the game 20-20. Big touchdown, big 2-point conversion. Stadium's going nuts, Brandon. If there was a roof, the roof has been blown off the place. I mean, everybody feels like the Jets have a chance. And Patrick Mahomes takes the Chiefs for kind of the end of the third into the fourth, right? 15 plays, 7 minutes and 23 seconds. Some big runs, some big throws, mostly to tight ends and running backs. Jason Kelce was involved in some of that. But they get down and they get
Travis
Kelce, rather.
Not Jason.
Not Jason. They get down, they kick the field goal, right? They take the lead. Everything is good. Zach Wilson, 3 minutes later, fumbles the football away. And then what does Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs do? They keep the ball for 18 plays that over just 53 yards. They kept the ball for another 7 minutes and 24 seconds.
Suffocated.
That effectively means that the Jets can't get the ball back. There is no chance of a comeback. And then he slides at the 2-yard line, stands up, puts his arms out, and says, I beat you all again. Right?
Man.
So
bettors lost millions on that.
What's that?
Bettors lost millions on that.
Oh, people
the slide would have covered the 8, and it didn't happen. I feel bad for guys who were betting the spread that day. That's why I don't bet the spread, man. I just do the pick'ems.
Hey,
just feel it's easier. Let's not worry about it. Who wins? If they win, they win. Great.
In that game, from a referee standpoint, there was a big hold. There was a pass interference, phantom pass interference on an interception. But you got to go with what the facts are, not with what should have been or what
right.
And for Mahomes to be able to figure out a way to control that whole last of the third quarter and basically the whole fourth quarter, they had the ball twice and they ran 12 minutes off the clock. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
So I got to give them that.
Yep.
Now, Brandon, biggest week for you and I.
Ooh, been waiting on this, baby.
This is rivalry week. I'm a little sad you don't have your 49er jersey. I went old school, right? I'm trying to bring back like the ghost of Troy Aikman for this week. This is a big game.
Go my boys up there. I didn't need a jersey. Yeah, you know what it is.
We're going to be on the couch, Coach, tonight, and I guarantee there's going to be a lot of smack talk going back and forth between the two of us, whether it's bravado or not. But I want to ask you, we're going to dive into this just for a second. What do the 49ers need to do? What does their game plan need to be as a team in order to win the game this coming weekend against my Cowboys?
Well, first, I think we need to run the ball. We need to run it very effectively. Christian McCaffrey leads the league in touches, touchdowns, and rushing yards. We need to sustain drives as much as we can. Now, through these last 3 games that I've seen, our numbers have gone up tremendously from third down from those first 2 games. I think we're coasting right around that upper 50% area, which is pretty solid. But our red zone efficiency is there. You get us in the red zone, we're going to score. And that's where I feel like you guys struggle the most. You guys are 7 of 19 in red zone situations versus us. I think we're like 90%. So, but enable for us to win, run the ball well, stop the run with Dak, protect Brock Purdy, but put this on Dak. I want to see it. If we lose, we lose. But I want to see, can Dak carry a team without a run game? And his defense is not looking up to par, right? We just played the Cardinals. We just showed you how to beat the Cardinals, right? This is a divisional matchup. Run the ball effectively. Brock Purdy was 95% completion. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. But the only way I feel like you guys would win is if you stop the run and try to put it on Purdy or one of the other quarterbacks. But I feel more confident in my quarterback than yours. That's my spill. That's
fair. And I'm going to be honest, I feel more comfortable about your quarterback than mine too right now. So
I bet.
I mean, your quarterback
dude's a machine.
So, but my Cowboys will win if. And here's the recipe for the Cowboys to win. I talked about this a few weeks ago, and they did it this weekend. Get a few turnovers, score on defense and or special teams. You have to. You have to score once or twice, and this is why you have to score on offense or special teams. because you talked about the red zone. We're 36% in the red zone. We're ranked 30th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. That's terrible. That's
Yeah.
absolutely terrible.
Right.
And you talk about stopping our run game. We don't really have a run game. Do you realize that, yes, we ran for over 100 yards this weekend, but I think it was 7 different players ran the football, including some wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb ran the ball. Dak Prescott ran the ball. Turbin ran the ball. So, my guy Pollard only had 40 yards on the ground. And it came from everything else. I think it was Turbin that had another 46 yards on the ground. So, you get those two, one big chunk play and some yards by Pollard, but our run game hasn't really blown off the charts yet. And I think it's a big reason that we're not scoring in the red zone. So we've got issues. But if our defense can score, right, and if we can win time of possession,
got a chance.
We have a chance to win the game. But our defense, if our defense is scoring, that means Brock Purdy's having a rough day. And I expect him to have the roughest day this weekend that he's had because he hasn't played a defense like this yet. The last time he did, he got knocked out against the Eagles. So this is the best defense he's played this season to me. And so we're going to see if he's going to held up because he's going to get hit. I believe he's going to get hit, and he's going to get hit.
The offensive line or right side is not very solid the way it needs to be. Brock's just got to take care of business. If we can run the ball, it's over.
I was worried about that, but this weekend, all of a sudden, we were able to stop the run pretty convincingly, although the Patriots don't have a great run offense. So
we have a great run team, man. So it's hard to stop Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If we were to lose this game, I'd rather lose it this week than lose it in the playoffs.
That's fair.
Let's get adjusted. Let's get corrected. Brock right now is, 9-0 as a starter in the regular season. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's actually number 1 in quarterback rating in the entire league right now. Yep. He's not going to enamor you with, all these passing stats and numbers. But, man, if you had a picture for efficiency, it's got to be him. I mean, what he's doing right now, he is probably the most confident quarterback I have ever seen outside of the man Tom Brady. Not comparing him to Tom Brady, but it's the way he goes about his business. It's the way he carries himself. The moment's never big. The moment's not too big for him. But this week, primetime game, this is going to show. And I hate to say this, is he really the guy? I think he is.
I don't think it's so much about
but I'm looking at it from a championship perspective. I'm not looking at it from a regular season perspective. You guys have a championship football team. I'm not going to take that away from you.
I don't think the prime time bothers him. I don't think that he's one of those guys. He's kind of like Joe Burrow to me. He's just, steady, cool all the time, no matter what. I think what's going to bother him is going to be that Cowboy front seven. That Cowboy front seven is a dominant front seven, one that he hasn't seen since the Eagles game. And, is he going to make it through the game? Is he going to take some hits? Is he going to speed up that clock of his? Is your coaching staff going to help him out? Right? Is his coaching staff going to? And
you got to protect them.
They run an extremely efficient offense with their dump offs, their screens, their quick game, deep run. So I think it's a bad matchup for Dallas, honestly. But there is a way for us to win the game, and it's get those turnovers.
I think Ayuk and Debo are going to give y'all fits.
Yeah. Oh, this is a bad matchup.
Yeah. This is a bad matchup. So we'll see.
So next up, we talked about this earlier. We've been teasing this for a couple weeks, but we got a special guest. His name is Tripp Harrington, and let's welcome in Tripp as soon as he accepts our invite. There he is. Welcome, Tripp Harrington.
What's up, son? How are you?
I'm doing good. Let me turn my sound up a little bit.
We've talked about Brandon. You are a quarterback trainer. You work with quarterbacks, and this is one of your guys. So talk about it, man. Talk about it. We're excited to have Tripp on the show, but tell us who he is.
Oh, man. Tripp's a great guy, man. He's a guy that I ended up getting a referral from one of my former teammates, Ben Birmingham. He's said great things about him. Played at Langston University, HBCU. He did his thing, man. He's a good kid. He's got his head on straight. He's always ready to work. Just one of those grinders in this NFL journey of his. He's got tremendous upside, and I was just excited just to play a little small part in his journey, just to polish it up a little bit and watch him do some great things, with the HBCU Combine and the HBCU game on national television and NFL Network. Which, by the way, he was the only quarterback to throw a touchdown that game. I was really excited, man. I know a lot of our quarterbacks really look up to him, just being that mentor, and where he is right now, that's where they want to be, in a spot to gain an opportunity. So, Tripp, man, I appreciate you jumping in on the show. And so just kind of want to just dive in first, just, talk about your journey right now from college to the combine to the arena and potentially XFL draft here. So just walk through us that timeline there.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long journey, as you know, just coming from, North Carolina, small North Carolina, going to HBCU, my first school, Norfolk State. And then just, not being – I don't think I was the same guy as I am now, not just being mature, having to leave there, going to a JUCO, then just, falling into Langston. And I actually had a couple opportunities to leave Langston, but, all the HBCU bowl games that were coming up, I just decided to stay my last year. So, and then I'm here now,
There you go.
You coaching me, what I'm saying, me getting to work in every day. So it's just been a crazy journey, but I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. So, I mean, going through that combine, you put up some damn good numbers there, and then leading to signing to your first IFL team in Green Bay, good old Green Bay Blizzard, to back up old Tommy Armstrong. How was your experience there?
It was interesting. As soon as I got the call, I wanted to shoot right up there. It was like I was excited. I just didn't know what to do. It was crazy. I knew I was going up there just for like emergency reasons, backup reasons, but just getting the practicing in, just getting a feel for how the game was, and it was kind of cool because I'm athletic enough. I got to get on some special teams, so I was out there running down on kickoffs and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, just to give you a little scoop here, our co-host Tim Smith is a championship offensive coordinator for the Fort Worth Bulls, and he coached Arena. He coached me with the Texas Revolutions along with Robert Kent, who was outstanding. Just to really bring Tim into the stage here, talk to me a little bit about, this will help you out too, Harrington, just going through this process. Tim, talk about your experience in Arena. What are you looking for in your quarterback as far as executing in an offense?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Tripp, congratulations on all of your success and everything that you're doing. That's great stuff, man. Love to hear that. But I got to work with the great legendary Coach Vic Mann, and he taught me a lot going into it. I was a volunteer coach with the Revolution, and about 3 weeks into that, really became the offensive coordinator. And it was really all under his tutelage. But what we're looking for is a quarterback that has a quick clock in his head, can get the ball out quick, can throw from different arm angles, and is somewhat athletic because that rush is coming all the time, right? And so it's being able to recognize kind of pre-snap where your opening is going to be. I mean, there's usually 3 to 4 guys running routes, so it's usually quarterback friendly, but we need you to have a quick trigger. You can't hold on to the ball. You can't wait for someone to be open. You have to be able to anticipate, and you have to be accurate. So if you can have those 3 things, accuracy, anticipation, and some athleticism to get out of trouble, I think you're on the right track. And have you had some of that same experience and some of that showing up for you?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, I
sir.
can hear you.
Oh, we got you. So do you notice, do you have some of these traits or some of these traits, are you trying to learn some of this? Because the arena game is so much different from the outdoor game as far as quickness.
So when I went to Green Bay, my first practice, I learned really quick. You can't hold on to the ball. You got to anticipate it really quick. Yeah. And then another thing is Coach Brandon knows like arm angles. He knows I'm pretty good at different arm angle throwing. We're working on right now. We're working on basic mechanics. You know what I'm saying? Trying to just polish that up because I do have a strong arm, but just, coming from the legs, throwing more from the legs instead of just arm, knowing I have a strong arm. And then just like you said, having a quick release in different arm angles. So Yeah, I'm
The
still
other thing
learning.
is too is touch, right? In the arena game,
Mhm.
you got to be able to have some touch.
Right.
You know, I
Yep.
got my first quarterback. The quarterback that we won the championship with is the great legendary Robert Kent out of Jackson State. I'm sure you know the name, being an HBCU guy. But this guy, man, he was the only guy I saw in an arena that wouldn't go in the shotgun, right? Unless it was absolutely necessary. He loved to be under center. But he gets the ball in his hands, one step, two step, ball's out. Ball is gone because he knows where he's going with it. And I got to learn a lot from him too. It's all, so anticipate, be a little athletic when you need to be, and have some touch, especially on those sail routes. That's really important, is to have that touch to get it over that backer or over that safety. So I think you'll be all right. And then congratulations being here in Dallas. They're a great football team.
Appreciate it.
Frisco Fighters, look out for them, man. That's an awesome opportunity for you, man. I'm looking forward to going to some games. Though you'll never know when I'm there. That's just kind of my thing. It's crazy how all this comes to full circle because you coach Robert Kent.
Yep.
He was a teammate of mine. Crazy part is Kent is now the quarterback coach for Cornell McGee, the fourth out of Richardson Berkner, who just lit it up the other day with 6 touchdowns, one of the DFW Player of the Weeks. So it's just really crazy that this small pool of quarterbacks, still stays connected. So shout out to him and shout out to you guys.
We need to go ahead and link you up, Tripp. We need to link him and Robert up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have some conversation. Robert's a great guy and always there to help.
Awesome dude, man.
So Tripp,
awesome
we want to get you involved in the show since you're here. We got one big segment left besides Brandon's fantasy segment.
Oh, look what he did! Did you see this?
Right off the bat.
He's a Charger fan. I love it.
We love Justin Herbert, by the way. Big Justin Herbert fan, so I feel you on that. We like to talk about who's the quarterback matchup this week that you're looking for. So we're going to start with you, Tripp. Forget the teams, forget the records. 2 quarterbacks that are going to play each other this week that you want to watch on Sunday. You don't want to leave the couch.
Okay, so I thought about going with your 2 teams, Cowboys and
Sure.
49ers. I know, but I know y'all gonna handle that part. But I like the matchup with Matt Stafford and Jalen Hurts. Matt Stafford. He having a pretty good year, even without Cooper Kupp. And I know Jalen, as of late, he's been putting it together. They struggled the first 2 games, but they've been putting it together. And then this could be a statement game for the Rams, or it can be a dominant performance by the Eagles like they have been doing. So I'm looking forward to that matchup.
I like that. This could be the first week the Eagles lose.
Yeah, I think so.
They're going to go up against a team that can throw the ball.
Mm-hmm. I think
put
so.
up points.
I don't think so. I think Jalen Hurts did extremely well last week. I mean, we had some on-fire stuff, and we missed Lamar's big game. We missed Jalen's big comeback. I mean, come on, dude. Put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand. Let him do his thing. Tim hates it.
Moving on. Brandon, who's your matchup of the week?
My matchup of the week, man, is Glock Purdy versus Dakota. I want to see it. This is what I've been wanting to see the entire time. I think Brock Purdy is the number 1 quarterback when it comes to QBR rating in the entire league. Mr. Relevant is what I'm going to call him. Dak Prescott, I really want an opportunity to see, can Dak put the weight on his shoulders? Can he do it?
Every time
I want him to do it. I want to put him in a situation to do it. And if he beats us, I'm okay with it.
That's not going to happen.
But I want to see it. I want to see it.
By getting turnovers, because every time we put it on Dak's shoulders, we lose every single time.
Brock really don't turn the ball over. Knock on wood. But
he's going to turn the ball over this week, buddy.
I'm just saying, Brock Purdy versus Dak Prescott. Man, I want to see this matchup so bad.
But I think the early season games, I think this is where Dak flourishes. Now later in the year, when it's more crucial, I think that's where he a little bit folds. You know what I'm saying? So
talk to him, Tripp.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think Dak he has to put it on his shoulders this game. So I believe he'll have a great game. Maybe 300 yards.
Oh. I hope so.
I mean, he might, man. I feel like the 49ers defense right now, we're a little suspect when it comes to dual threats, as history has shown it. But we're also 15-1 at home in the past 3 seasons. So I like my chances.
We're not going to win if we come with this 36% in the red zone BS. We got to stop.
You better not bring that BS, brother.
Throw it to
You
CD.
can't live and die off of field goals.
So I've got a different matchup, and I'm going to take Kirk Cousins versus Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to say that right now, by the numbers, Kirk is outplaying Patrick, right? If we just said who's playing better, Kirk Cousins is playing better than Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are finding ways to win, though, and you're going to when Andy Reid is on the sidelines.
Right.
You've got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and you've got Travis, not Jason, Kelsey at tight end. So there's a lot of good things in this game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I don't know who's going to win the game because the Vikings are kind of bipolar, and they should have won a couple earlier games, right? They finally get a win against Carolina. I think this is going to be an awesome game, man. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch, especially not being a fan of either team. I think this is going to be a great one to watch. So the next step that we're going to go to, and Brandon has been just incredibly successful here. If you're not paying attention, listen for this segment because he is going to give you the path to have the best quarterbacks start for you on game day and who to stay away from. So, Brandon, who's your fantasy picks this weekend?
Well, fantasy pick, I got one right now, and I think I got a really solid one. I've been hitting every single week, so I'm pretty proud of that, even though my fantasy team didn't do so well. Yeah. So if you want to start a quarterback this week, you're going to start Tua versus the Giants. I mean, they're deflated right now. They lost at home. The Giants did to the Seahawks, which I thought Daniel Jones was going to have a really solid game because the Seahawks give up a lot of passing yards. But I think right now, starting Tua versus the Giants, they're salty. They're salty. They pretty much got humiliated up in Buffalo, which, I mean, Josh Allen plays extremely well versus Buffalo. 36 touchdowns since 2018 versus the Dolphins. That's insane, right? That's pretty crazy. A quarterback to stay away from is going to be Kenny Pickett versus the Ravens. They may start him. If Mitchell Trubisky is in, don't. Steeler Homer fans, stay away from Trubisky. He is who he is.
Stop
it. He is who he is.
Who he is what?
Stay away from that. Stay away from that.
Playoffs. He was 5-0 in Chicago when they benched him. So who is he? He's better than Kenny Pickett.
Chicago talking.
He's better.
He obviously didn't take Kenny Pickett's spot, so there's obviously something wrong with it.
Well, that's because Kenny Pickett was drafted high and the fans wanted him. But look where he is now. He's probably one of the worst quarterbacks out there right now.
I mean, well, Mitchell, wasn't he drafted too? In front of Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. Oh, Lord.
You know that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know the Bears are
Stay away from that. Those are my two matchups, man. I didn't have a lot. I feel I would have said stayed away from Dak Prescott, but I think he'll have an actually good game. We struggle against dual threats.
You're
but
setting people up to fail right there. You can't start that.
Stay away from Kenny Pickett and start Tua, period.
But what if you don't? What if Tua's not on your team? What if you don't have Tua? Who else should I start? Give me another pick.
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts.
Well,
you can. I know the matchups. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
And I'm also say Lamar versus the Steelers. He's coming off of a very good game.
I'm going to say this for Bernard Daniel and Bernard Daniel only. Lamar Jackson is always a great pick in fantasy. Take him every single week.
So is Jalen Hurts. So who are you saying, Tripp?
I was saying, could you start Mahomes because of the defense, because of Minnesota's defense and how bad they are?
But Minnesota also gets turnovers too, so I'm not sure. I mean, I still feel it's a pretty solid game. I mean, starting Mahomes any week is gold, right?
He's guaranteed.
It's gold the way he's
right.
Playing. He just threw 2 picks on Sunday night and really should have had 4.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to make some hiccups, but it's the Jets defense. They're not too bad.
And that won't happen again. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
Period. It's not even close.
What about Justin Fields? We didn't talk about him because the Bears blew that 21-point lead. But
Justin Fields did good, man. I felt bad for the guy.
Me too.
He is. Me too. Yeah, I felt bad for him. I feel like he turned a corner a little bit. Hopefully that continues to flourish. I mean, he did throw, 300 yards, 14. Yep. I mean, he did good. He did good. That one pick is what killed him, and it's unfortunate. That's what's everybody.
Zach Wilson played great. He had that late.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
yes, he did. So,
Tripp, thanks so much for joining us today, man. Hope to have you back again. And looking forward to watching your journey with here in Frisco with the Frisco Fighters. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the QB Huddle Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please fire Brandon Staley. Okay, keep that. We're going to film that tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our incredible producer, Marcus Watson. Tripp,
appreciate you, brother,
for joining us, man. Big thrill to have you on. And again, can't wait to see you play this year. I'm Tim Smith. For my podcast partner, Brandon Newey, who everyone knows. This is it for the QB Huddle. See you next week.
Peace. Go Niners.